Greetings from Costa Rica. I hope you're doing well. It's December 1st, Army Abolition Day here in Costa Rica. Since 1948, the country has had no standing military, which for people like me from the United States of America leaves you asking, how does Costa Rica protect itself? I'm going to give a quick overview of Costa Rica's national security. Stay tuned. Greetings from Costa Rica. I hope you're doing well. Today is the anniversary of the abolition of Costa Rica's military. On this date, December 1st, 1948, the Costa Rica national government decided to abolish the military, and as of 2020, the country still has no standing military. For foreigners, that can be a very difficult concept to understand, especially if you're from the United States of America. It's difficult to imagine how a country could possibly exist without a military. How does Costa Rica defend itself, or how would Costa Rica defend itself, is a question we get. Today I want to give a brief overview and just general context for Costa Rica's security, the strategy, etc., as to how it exists without a military. If you like simple, direct information about Costa Rica and you're thinking about moving here, do be sure to subscribe to my channel where I give updates, news, information, etc. Let's talk about, first of all, why would Costa Rica need a military in the first place? What are the threats to security here? Costa Rica, first of all, has absolutely no interest in projecting power outside of its borders, and so really any military would only serve a purpose here in the country to begin with. In Latin America over the last century, and this is not a political statement, there is no opinion behind this, I'm just presenting statistics that it's important to understand. Over the last century, the most likely country to have military action in a Latin American country was the United States of America. Throughout the 20th century, you can really look at a steady history of the U.S. military intervening in different countries for different purposes and different stated goals at all of those interventions. But truly, the United States has been the most active player here, and I don't think I'm saying anything controversial there. Ever since the Monroe Doctrine, the U.S. has essentially been the controlling player in this hemisphere. Costa Rica has been very much aligned with the United States of America during its democratic history, and really, the main reason that the U.S. was getting involved in different countries in Latin America, mainly to control governments so that they were friendly to the U.S. democracy, so that they were hostile to communism, etc., isn't relevant here. Costa Rica has been overbearingly friendly to the United States of America and very much open. So, first and foremost, the most probable threat, or really the biggest player in the region, has no interest of taking military action in Costa Rica. Thus, really, in looking at the different potential threats, the biggest reason for any military action is already sort of off the table. Second of all, let's look at our borders. Panama and Costa Rica have not had any historic animosity. The region between the two countries is dense rainforest. There aren't many natural resources right in that region that would have provoked sort of people fighting over the border, etc. And really, Panama, sort of as a country that is very prosperous economically, that enjoys a status of holding the canal, etc., honestly does not have much interest, or has never had much interest, in threatening Costa Rica's southern border. Nicaragua, on the northern side of the country, at least relative to Panama, one could consider it would be a bigger threat, given that, yes, Costa Rica annexed a big portion of Nicaragua, Guanacaste. The Nicaraguan president has frequently made remarks sort of asserting Nicaragua's historic ownership of Guanacaste, etc. But this is largely hot air, and really, when you look at the entire situation with Nicaragua, there's a relative imbalance there that makes me feel that almost never would you see a scenario where a Nicaraguan government would decide to come into Costa Rica and make any trouble. First of all, the GDP of Nicaragua is about 20% of the GDP of Costa Rica. We're talking a difference of $60 billion GDP to $12 billion GDP for Nicaragua. Second of all, Nicaragua's total military spending, I think in 2018 or 19, was about $80 million. It's a country where resources are scarce and there isn't a huge military budget available. By contrast, Costa Rica's security budget is somewhere to the order of $900 million, about 10 times more than what Nicaragua is spending on its military per year. Which isn't to say there's even the possibility that the two would fight, but really, to understand the balance of power in the region, one needs to understand that Nicaragua is very much a smaller, economically speaking, country than Costa Rica. Finally, and perhaps most importantly, Costa Rica is a participating country in the Treaty for Inter-American Reciprocal Assistance. I might have messed up the formal wording, but it's the RIU Treaty Alliance, which was essentially all of the countries of the Western Hemisphere, or most of them, signing on to a mutual defense treaty in 1947 and 48. This treaty is a pact in which all of the countries agreed that an attack on one was an attack on all, and it set up a system of mutual protection. That treaty has been violated on numerous occasions, and really one could say that it's sort of just a general vision rather than an actual practical arrangement that avoids all military conflict. But most importantly, Costa Rica's strategy, diplomatically and on the international stage, is very much one of avoiding potential military conflict. Not only through the practice that, Costa Rica is never going to try and project its power abroad, but also through cooperating in international alliances, playing a mediator in the region, and really trying to make the question irrelevant in the first place. Without getting too political, I'll go ahead and wrap it up. Thank you very much for watching. Have a good day.